It's Saturday morning cartoons, and I hope that my screen does not go wide like it did yesterday. I played around for a long time. I think I haven't gone wide. If I've gone wide, I apologize, and I'm going to have to work on it some more. But anyway, it's Saturday morning cartoons. And I'm going to go a little bit further on my Omega Institute 3-day workshop, I guess it was a 3-day workshop on the Western magical tradition. And I'm going to skip over. I'm not going to do the whole thing, for heaven's sakes. I'll hopefully make it available for all of us at a later date. But I'm just covering a few things. There were 3 degrees: the lesser mysteries, the greater mysteries, and the supreme secret. And I tried to remember that the students are sort of very, very, very green. There are people that this really is the introduction to the Western mystery tradition. So it's not like the sophisticated group that we have here today at Saturday morning cartoons. But anyway, so I'm going to share this one with you here. And it starts off with an epigram. I'm quoting myself here as my initiation is not a religion or a faith-based belief system. It is the voluntary and systematic process of spiritual evolution. You want to hear that again? Initiation is not a religion or a faith-based system. It is the voluntary and systematic process of spiritual evolution. Adeo sat bene, which I believe is Latin for so far so good. Okay. But we're just going to talk just a little bit about today so we can get on with our weekend. This is from the first degree temple work. Now we've had the first degree initiation. I'm skipping over that. I'm not reading that for you, but there's an initiation class, a ritual of self-initiation, and you're given a jewel. That's the jewel of the first degree, and there's a handshake. You give yourself a handshake, and there's a password and a sign. And it may sound funny and childish, but these signs of recognition and grips and secret words and things like that are very important to the formula of initiation, because where you do your work, your temple, if you will, is a particular vibratory frequency. It's an environment of elevated consciousness frequency, and you just don't walk in off the street and into that environment. You have to be attuned to that environment, and your initiations to each of those levels facilitates that attunement. And so at each step, just like in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you're confronted with a guard that wants you to prove that you've elevated to that level, that you can penetrate the membrane, if you will, of this higher level of consciousness. And so the guardian at the threshold tests you. They want to make sure you got your right badge on. They want to make sure you know the handshake and that you know the secret word, and that secret word has vivified you, has been implanted in you, and that you qualify. So the handshakes and the passwords are very important, even in self-initiations. So you, in order to do all of this, to take the next class, if you will, or the next part of the degree work, you got to ease yourself through that membrane each time. And then the temple must be opened. And after the work is done, then the temple is respectfully and duly closed also. So in a sense, your consciousness can return to the more mundane world for you to function in. That being said, this is your jewel. Okay. First degree temple work. Ceremony of the passing of the pylon. And here's another one of these things something I want you to really do. And for this class, this is number 1. As you did that last week, close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you're wearing your first degree jewel, like a medallion. You are standing in front of a door that is guarded by an angel with a sword. The angel will not let you pass. In fact, the angel says, "Who are you?" With your right or left hand, hold your jewel up before you. With the pointer finger of your other hand, it doesn't matter right or left. Draw a circle in the air before the angel's face. Then draw a pentagram within the circle. That's your jewel. Visualize this image in flame, hovering between you and the angel. Now, in a strong, clear voice, utter your magical motto. So you gave yourself a motto in the last class too. So now visualize, let's say your motto is Adeo Sat Bene. Now visualize the angel saying, "Pass, Adeo Sat Bene," and bowing and moving aside as you boldly push the door open and pass through. This is the opening of the first degree temple. I again greet you as a sibling of the first degree of the Order of Omega. That's what we called it at the time, the OOO. And ask you to assist me in opening the temple. And this is something I really want you to do. Number 2. Take your first degree jewel and place it where you can see it throughout this lesson. Knock yourself up by knocking 3 times on the top of your head, either with your right or left hand. Now that's the knocking. Initiation ceremonies, usually the officers at one time or another announce the movement from section to section of the initiation ritual by knocking. In this if you'll excuse me, maybe I've spoken too much. If you'll excuse me. Hello?
Message.
Well, that was one of those kind of things. It was a Cowan and eavesdropper. These knocks are done on the top of your own head as if to wake you up a little bit. And it's a process in the OOO that we call knock yourself up. So you knock and then you stand up. Knock yourself up. And as you can imagine, almost every one of these goofy things that we do as we proceed through the degree work have deeper and more profound, they make deeper and more profound sense as we move along, or they should. Or it's just fun. Knock yourself up. Take out your first degree jewel, place it where you can see it throughout this lesson. Knock yourself up by knocking 3 times on the top of your head, either with your right or left hand. Then stand up and give the sign, the grip, and utter the word of a first degree OOO, as you've been instructed. Please do this deliberately and with full attention to what you were doing. If you don't remember what to do, please go back to week 1's initiation ceremony and read the instructions. Now, sit down, take a few deep breaths, and try to recapture the bodiless feeling you had at the end of your initiation. That's an initiation where you strip everything in the universe away, and you are that which remains. Then say, I am a light shining in the darkness. I am the pure thought of the divine. I am the deathless center of all life. When all else is gone, I am that which remains. The temple is open. The degree lecture, and the degree lecture is headed up with this image here. We see the coaster, a cocktail glass, a swizzle stick, and that's red actually, a swizzle stick, and one of those cocktail swords that you impale your onion or olive with. Welcome to the cocktail lounge of the Lesser Mysteries. I'm Lon, and I'll be your bartender this evening. Unlike cocktail lounges for the uninitiated, everyone here is required to carry weapons. As a matter of fact, in order to be fully armed initiates of the Lesser Mysteries, you have to carry 4 weapons. Allow me to set you up. Your weapons are the coaster, the magician's disc, our material world, our bodies, a firm and stable foundation that supports the cocktail of our life. The plastic sword pick, the magician's sword, our intellect, our thoughts, with which we penetrate the mysteries of the olive, onion, or cherry of life. The cocktail glass, the magician's cup, our heart and our intuition, our love and our understanding, into which is poured inspiration in the pure light of the divine, and from which we drink our ecstatic fill of life. And the plastic swizzle stick, the magician's wand, our perfect will, which once understood is identical with what other people sometimes call the will of God. It is the baton we use to get the cosmic bartender's attention to make our next order known. It also comes in handy if we need to gouge it in the eyes of unruly and demonic drunks. Now, during a live class, I actually had, for each member of the class, round cocktail coasters that I gathered up from English pubs on my visits to the UK. They're beautiful. Everyone got one. And then plastic cocktail cups like this, kind of miniature ones. Okay, and red swizzle sticks that I've stole over the years. Okay, and yellow swords, yellow cocktail swords. Everybody got one. Okay, because as this lecture, as this degree, as this process continues, they're going to charge every one of their magical weapons. I brought Enochian tablets, everything else into the class, showed them how to use them. They all charged, magically charged their disc and their swizzle sticks and their plastic picks and their plastic. They each magically charged them as true magical weapons, if they chose to view them as such, anyway. Something I really want you to see. Now, I know all of this sounds dumb, and the analogies are pretty lame and not altogether accurate. But if you stop to think about, the magician's tools are represented quite nicely by these four familiar objects. At least for some of us, they're familiar. Something I want you to really do, number 3. Find 4 objects that will serve as your 4 magical weapons. And I've done this for the benefit of an online class. If you already have a magical disc, sword, cup, and wand, feel free to use them. But if you don't, or if you'd like to try something new for this class, look around and find something round and flat for your disc. It can be a pub coaster, a coin, a button, a dish, a saucer, a CD, or a DVD. Anything you can love and treasure as something very special. Next, something sharp for your sword. Something capable, at least theoretically, of piercing and slicing things. A sword-shaped letter opener would be perfect, or a plastic sword pick used for cocktails, or a pocket or pen knife, or a kitchen knife. Anything you can love and treasure as something very special. A glass or a cup for your cup. This can be a fancy goblet or beaker or teacup from your kitchen cupboard. Anything that can theoretically hold liquid, as you can love and treasure as something very special. Finally, something rather long and pointy. This can be small like a pencil or a chopstick, or large like a stick you find in your yard, or a walking stick or cane, just as long as it is firm and pointy and wouldn't look completely ridiculous if you stuck it in your cup. These objects might not seem very magical to you, but I assure you, if you can't transform these trinkets into real magical weapons, then you can't make anything a magical weapon. So take good care of them. We'll start now by consecrating them to your great work. We will magically charge them with the special force of the element they represent. But before we do, in order for us to better understand a tiny bit of what these forces are, we should first understand a little something about the great Kabbalistic name of God we often hear mispronounced, Jehovah. I say mispronounced because it's not to be pronounced. It's not a name at all, but a formula or convenient classification of everything in heaven and earth into four broad categories described by the Hebrew letters Yod, He, Vav, He. And everybody gets a chart just like this. There's the Hebrew letter. This is sort of reading from right to left. Okay. There's the Hebrew letter Yod He Vav He. There's the element fire, water, air, earth. There's the weapon wand, cup, sword, and disc. There's the fixed zodiac sign. Okay, that becomes important. The fixed or cherubic lion of Leo, eagle of Scorpio, man or angel of Aquarius, and bull of Taurus. Then there's the part of the soul. There's the Chai, the life force itself. There's the Neshama, or soul intuition. There's the Ruach, our intellect. There's the Nepish, our animal soul. And then there's a whole Kabbalistic world, existence. Atzilith, the archetypal world. Braya, the creative world. Or Bria, the world of soft cheeses. There's Yetzirah, the formative world, and Asaya, the material world. Then there's the four powers of the Sphinx: to know, to dare, to keep silent, to know, to will. And the directions for the pentagram rituals: south, west, east, north. Okay. The four letters and all they represent are joined together and separated by a fifth element, spirit, which are represented by the Hebrew letter, Shin. But we won't go into that right now. There's a special pentagram for each of the four elements, and two each for the element of spirit. And then I give them this table. The left column shows the invoking pentagrams, those that bring the influence of that particular element into your magical environment. And the right column shows the banishing pentagram, those that cast away the influence of that particular element from your magical environment. Notice that there are two kinds of spirit pentagrams: spirit active and spirit passive. These are very important because before you go around invoking or banishing forces of a specific element, you need to first willfully and effectively penetrate the membrane of its world. Before barging into the worlds of fire, water, air, water or air or earth, you must present your badge of authority to the guardians of that particular elemental world. Your badge is the spirit pentagram, appropriate to the element you are dealing with at the moment. You use either a spirit active pentagram for the elements of air in the east and fire in the south, or the spirit passive pentagram for the elements of water in the west and earth in the north. You demonstrate mastery of the pentagram by first drawing the appropriate spirit pentagram, then drawing the pentagram of the element itself. It's very simple, and the first and most practical thing you can do is master the pentagram to magically charge and consecrate your magical weapons. And so, fellow initiates of the cocktail lounge of the lesser mysteries, let's do it. Okay, that's another little taste of the Western magical tradition. We're working on the first degree, which is the lesser mysteries, and that's sort of dominated by the microcosmic stuff. Anyway, I hope you think it's kind of fun, and hopefully I'll put this together in a more approachable and way that you can also share in it, because it's been years since I've been to the Omega Institute. Not that I don't want to be invited back, because I do. I've had a wonderful time, but it'll be bittersweet because I shared that time with my dear friend Rachel Pollack and Mary Greer, who is very much still with us. Anyway, that's it for Saturday morning cartoons. I've probably babbled on enough. We'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.